Let us discuss news today. In Tripura, after 25 years, Manik Sarkar government lost its majority. BJP is ready to form the government along with its alliance indigenous tribal party. In Nagaland also, the BJP alliance is leading. And in Meghalaya, the Congress might have a lead with hunger. Coming to last 2 days news articles, the GDP growth has shown a comeback now from 6.5% to 7.2%. There is a buoyancy in GDP growth rate. And in Hindu paper on Friday, there is an article on mapping the Chinese century. Mapping the Chinese century. The other says, to counter China in the Asia, India is the only major player which can actually counter China and its increase of strategic space. 2-3 issues. One is the South China Sea rule-based international architecture. India's neighborhood, how China is influencing India's neighborhood. These two things, and the third important thing is, on the eve of India's Republic Day, all the 10 Asian leaders have come and they have asked that there should be a rule-based international architecture with respect to high seas to ask, and they want to ask China to stop its expansion in South China Sea. This was one of the important things that were mentioned in the newspaper. War and peace. Next article on Friday in Hindu. War and peace. Afghanistan President Ashraf Ghani promised political party status to Taliban, and these have good effects and bad effects. And the president himself making them to establish a political party might give a good signal of involving them in the democratic process. At the same time, the most conservative Taliban might end up in creating more unstable situation in Afghanistan. Next article is about reducing the carbon footprint. The other wrote, India should work to reduce carbon footprint by starting an emission trading system, emission trading scheme. In that, here every unit or some identified entities should follow a cap on emissions of greenhouse gases, and beyond the cap they were allowed to have a safety valve or emission trading with some other entities or with the government. And this will actually in the long run will protect India from global warming effects and also help India to sustain its Paris targets, because India have promised INDCs, intended nationally determined contributions, in the Paris climate deal. For all these things, India need to evaluate a mechanism to reduce carbon footprint. Next article, is artificial intelligence a danger to humanity? Is artificial intelligence a danger to humanity? One argument is pure intelligence, either artificial or not, is always a danger without human touch. The other argument is artificial is nothing, intelligence is nothing but the intelligence created by mankind, and it will never go beyond human intelligence. The third argument is we need artificial intelligence but with limited extent, not to restrict the human values and human jobs. We need to have artificial intelligence for progress, and we cannot stop science to exist, but we can minimize the adverse effects of science. That is the only thing which we can have today. Next article in Saturday's newspaper, fear of for future. Fear of forfeiture. As you all know, Indian cabinet approved forfeiture of the fugitive criminals' property. If somebody commits a very big white collar crime or a economic offense in India, his entire property which is in India will be forfeited. The argument is to save their property which is in India, the criminals who have committed economic frauds, will not run away from India. But the other argument is, for one crime, the government is proposing disproportionate punishment. Next article is about few days back, United Indian Insurance Company, there was a judgment on that where it denied insurance cover for a rarest genetic disease. The Supreme Court told you cannot make such a discrimination when you cover an insurance package just because a man gets a disease because of his genetic DNA or helix. You cannot say that his insurance cover will not be given to him. You cannot discriminate a man based on his genetic diseases. Next article is the Adivashi in the mirror. This article speaks about the recent Kerala, the murder of a person, Congress party worker called Madhu. And you all know the various issues, atrocities, killings, disproportionate attacks on various groups. India should be a peaceful place to live in, but unfortunately, day in and day out, we are seeing attacks, lynchings, mob attacks in the newspapers. We have to take an urgent call on the issue. Next article is about voting against alcohol. This issue is related to Panchayat referendum in Rajasthan with respect to allowing alcohol in the region or not. These are the important current affairs newspaper analysis from the last 2 days. Thank you.